Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, here for the start of the Hungarian Grand Prix qualifying. We're jumping straight into things here. We're at Q1, we're going to do our first banker lap now, going around, and it's a 1:15.8, that puts us in P4. And yeah, we'll jump straight to the action here. This took me by surprise because I completely forgot how I'd edited this video. Anyway, that lap was only good enough for P20. So we're going to have to go out again at the going to use the second set of tyres. Hungary, not really a good track for me. I really gel with it all too much, as we see we actually looked up at turn 1. Going through turn 3 now. We're about 2 temps up. The fresher tyres are helping us. And I did actually make a mistake here. I kept my practice engine in, and as we actually run wide, invalidate our lap time. So that's it, that's qualifying over for us. Yep. That's it. That's a very short intro. Practice, nothing much really happened. I think I wasn't on the pace for the qualifying pace program, but I think we managed to pass it actually, and it shows because look at our engine there. We're gonna have to change that, so we're actually gonna take an engine penalty. Not that it really affects us because we are currently starting P20, so we're only losing 2 positions. And I'd feel like having a fresher engine would be better. I'm actually going to put in completely fresh engine components, I believe. I should do. But yeah, Hungary. Not really a track. I don't like it. I feel like the tyre wear is far too... the tyre temperatures are far too out of control. Even with the lowest PSI you can get. And it's just not really a track that I enjoy playing. But anyway, let's get into the Hungarian Grand Prix, round 15, I think.
Today at the 2.7-mile Hungaro-Ring circuit. 14 corners here, 8 to the right and 6 to the left, on a track where downforce is king and passing is notoriously difficult. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Let's talk about Red. Looks like they've got a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Vettel, Leclerc, Alexander Albon, and Ricciardo, Perez, Sainz, Norris, and Lance Stroll, Ocon, Gasly, Jack Aitken, and Verstappen. They've taken a grid penalty. Grosjean, Magnussen, Kimi Räikkönen, and George Russell, Giovinazzi, Fiat, Latifi, and... Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So here we are, we're lining up, we're starting P22, we're starting on the medium compound tyres. Today's going to be a one-stop race, mediums to hards, pretty simple. 2-stop is really not worth it, just because of the lack of overtaking opportunities. We are running really high downforce, so we're pretty slow on the straights. And we're actually taking out a lot of fuel, because I'll be running lean for most of the third sector. But anyway, 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go. And we get a pretty okay start. Nothing much really happens. I'm going to take it easy going into turn 1. You see I switch off overtake, we put down to lean. I say take it easy. We're actually going to lunge up the inside of maybe 3-4 cars there. And we actually move ourselves up into currently P18, but Kvyat gets us back on the traction on his soft compound tyres. And we actually have to dart to the grass there to avoid Kimi Räikkönen. We managed to get around the outside of him. We have a little bit of a snap of oversteer, but Räikkönen comes back at us, but we squeeze him out on the exit of turn 4. And we move ourselves up to P17 after the first sector pretty much. We're now cut up to the end of lap 1, and we're going to be setting up a move on Kevin Magnussen. He runs quite slow through there, which sort of affects my run out of the final corner. So we're going to play overtake. As you can see, he's got the legs us on the straight, despite the Haas car being very slow in a straight line. But we're going to do an absolute massive dive bomb up the inside there. The AI sort of concertina up quite heavily going into that turn 1. So that allows us to dive bomb quite aggressively, but you know, he was going even slower than what it should have been. Now we're going to see Grosjean. We're going to do exactly the same thing to him on lap 3, and we move up into P15 with that move. And we're not actually making contact with these cars, we're just sending a big old yeet up the inside. As we now cut onto lap 5, we are going to try and have a look at Max Verstappen. DRS has been enabled, and he's chasing down Esteban Ocon, but we do again a big dive up the inside. We get very close to Ocon there, so we have to look up the tyres a little bit, but tyre wears are really going to be an issue around this track. Starting on the mediums, going to the hards. I feel like I'm relatively okay on the tyres despite that lockup. We're now up to P14, we're hunting down Ocon in P13. Max is on the soft tyres, but those soft tyres will be degrading quite heavily. We're using a lot of overtake, as you can see. Some people have come into the pit lane, that put us up into a poised P position in P10. We get very close to the back of Ocon in the braking zone of turn 1. The AI are quite weak there. Jackie's actually in P8, so our teammates doing fantastic work for us there, as we're going to be trying to look for an avenue around Ocon. Max is still holding close to our rear, but he pits at the end of lap 7. Moving on to lap 8, we gain a couple more positions all the way up into P8, P7 now actually, as we overtake Hamilton coming out of the pit lane. Hamilton do the one stop. And we're just going to have to defend from him because he's going to be mightily quick in that Mercedes on fresh hard compound tyres, whilst our mediums are 9 laps old. We haven't actually managed to find a way past Ocon yet. Hamilton's going up our inside here, and he actually barges out of the way quite heavily. We push him out wide, and we're actually going to have a quick look here at that incident, because it's a very interesting one. The AI aren't particularly smart when going into turn 4. They see it as an overtaking opportunity, but they don't really follow through. If you see, Hamilton goes up our outside here, and he actually twitches. When he doesn't run onto the grass, he tries to push us out the way, as you'll see when we slow it down. So the corner bends right and then goes left. I'm currently heading over to the right because that's the racing line. Hamilton's alongside me when I start moving right, so I fully entitled that corner. We can see he's unwilling to yield the position and wait till the start finish line, so he pushes us out the way and then proceeds to try and push a little bit more, but I have enough of this. I run him out wide. Luckily there was no damage for both of us, so I just say it's all fair and square racing, really. I don't know about what you would think. I feel like the AI are a bit dumb some parts of different tracks, but oh well. So we get very close to the pit entry wall there. We lose the back end quite heavily at the exit of the final corner on the rumble strips. Now Hamilton's going up our inside. We are actually going to fight this position. Not that we really need to, because Hamilton is effectively a pit stop ahead of us, but I want to. But Hamilton, much fresher tyres, gets much better traction. He did the switch back on us. We have a look up the inside going into turn 3, but nothing does of it, so we're going to let him go and chase down Ocon. I believe we're going to come into the pits within the next 5 laps maybe, as we cut on to lap 12 now, the start of it. And we actually have a Mercedes that's retired. It's Valtteri Bottas. He's out of the Grand Prix. He's currently the leader of the championship, so he's going to be taking a rather large hit in the championship lead there, unfortunately. As we cut now to lap 15, and we're actually going to be diving into the pits. We're going to be trying to get the undercut on Ocon, on my teammate. Fuel isn't really an issue this race. ERS not so much, even though we've been using it quite heavily. But it's, you only really use ERS on that main straight to try and get past people. Excuse me. The reason I'm doing the undercut is I feel that it will be better. The hard tyres, you really don't get too much tyre wears. We actually have a terrible pit stop there, 3 seconds from the boys, not really that good. And we're going to join in relatively clean air. Kvyat is just over a second up the road, but he manages to keep that gap as we progress on. And Ocon's coming out of the pits now on the very next lap. He's on hard compound tyres too. We managed to go right around the outside and now up to temperature hards. And that was a pretty simple move there. So currently up into P16, more drivers are in the pits now. Our teammate is coming out of the pits just ahead of us, and we're going to be right on his tail. I actually go very late under brakes there to get a lovely flowing run. We managed to get ahead of Jack, and that puts us up into P13 in this race. A couple more drivers are going to make their stops, and these are the 2-stop runners, so they're going to be our fresh mediums, and they're going to be hunters. I see Vettel here. He's coming out on the fresh medium tyres. Kvyat goes around the outside of him. I go around the outside of Vettel too. Actually, Vettel's going to come back at us here. Kvyat's giving Vettel the slipstream, but we managed to hold off Vettel. We ran out wide, nearly going around the outside of Kvyat there, but he holds strong. We hold on to our position against Vettel. So at this point now, it's just defending. We're currently P9. We're in a points position. I would take points in this race. See, this is a bad track for us. So we do a massive lunge at the inside of Kvyat there. I felt like we were faster than the AlphaTauris, or at least Kvyat, so I wanted to try and get past him as quickly as possible. Put a car between ourselves and Vettel, but that didn't last long. See, lap 23 now, going to be on to lap 24. Vettel's caught to the back of us, as we actually have a yellow flag just out of turn 2. I believe that's one of the Williams that might be out of this race. And unfortunately, Vettel gets up our inside. Didn't really fight out so much as it was George Russell that was out of the race. Yeah, I did want to fight it. I'm just going to be prolonging the next 12 laps and not really closing up to Gasly if I fight Vettel all too much. As we go on to lap 27 now, the skies have darkened massively, and Jeff did actually say that rain was inbound. So I was hoping at this point the rain would come faster, as Alex Albon gives us a little nudge as he goes past us on lap 28. Don't want to fight him either. I don't think I really can fight that. We've only just ticked over to green in terms of our fuel. Our ERS is quite low, we're about 17%. But that was it. We caught up to the back of Gasly, but that was right on the last lap, so we couldn't have really done much. The rain had started coming down, but unfortunately it didn't come down early enough to make a difference. I would cross the line in position 10. We scored 1 point from P22, and I'm very happy with that. Given the track, given how I feel around Hungary, it's probably one of my weakest tracks. But yeah, all in all, a pretty boring race.
Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
So yeah, as you can see, Hamilton gets the victory over Lance Stroll. Fantastic race by him to come from P10 to P2. But that's his first podium of the season. Unfortunately, we didn't beat our rival, Carlos Sainz. He finished ahead of us only by 5 seconds. I feel with a slightly better setup maybe we could have done more, but it is what it is. P12 for Jack. He had a decent race, running quite high in the points. Well, unfortunately, Jack's racecraft isn't as high as all of his other stats, so that needs to be worked on. The Renault's actually having an abysmal race today. They came 13th and 14th after starting 11th and 6th respectively. In terms of the driver's standings, we lose a position to Lance Stroll, so we're now down to P10. Again, the fight between P7 to P11 is very close. It's only separated by 7 points. I feel at this point of the season, I can definitely aim for maybe getting 5th. Between 5th, I think 7th is in the constructors. We are currently 7th. I'd like to be best of the rest as the lowest come end of season. I think that's going to be my main goal now. If we can get higher than P7 in both, I'll be very happy, as currently we are losing the rivalry against Carlos Sainz to 17-9. Yeah, the race was pretty boring. I was bored all the way through that race. I mean, I had a bit of action at the beginning, but after that the field just spread out and nothing much really could be done. We do get a substantial amount of money, $640,000, because we completed all of our contract agreements. So that boosts our profit up quite heavily. We're going to do some R&D now. We're just go through buying a bunch of stuff. We've bought build time and I believe resource point generation for the chassis development. I'm also looking to get a weight reduction chassis development upgrade rather, mainly because that looks to brake. Brake upgrades is we're actually going to a mid-season interview with Will Buxton. He's going to be answering asking some questions for us. But yeah, brakes are a thing that we definitely need in this car. That's why I'm going towards that route. But Will Buxton, we've had our first win in F1 at Monaco. That was quite a while ago, but obviously, we haven't had an interview since then. And now he's going to be asking us, are we a Red Bull or are we a sort of McLaren team? By that I mean, are we focusing on our second driver? He's sort of trying to find his way in to say, are you going to be kicking your second driver if he doesn't perform, or are you going to put your faith in him? Obviously, I'm going to be saying what the sponsors and what the team wants to hear. I'm still undecided about what to do with Jack at the end of the season. We'll have to see how he performs in the second half of the season. He's asking us about team orders now. No, I don't feel like team orders, even if when they were in the game, I'd use them, because Jack isn't really a threat at this point in terms of my team. And yeah, once again, he's asking us about our second driver. This point, getting frustrated with Will, so Will can go away. Yeah, now we're going to be moving back onto doing the season break. Actually, we get the energy store cells positioning upgrade, so that's going to make our car slightly lighter, which will help in all aspects of the car. And now we currently have 2 days, so we're going to do an aero team building exercise just to boost that up. Our aero is lacking quite heavily. Our chassis is quite good at this point, I think, so we need to focus on aero. And that's it. That's a very short episode. We're going to go to Spa next weekend. I feel a very good track for myself. So to have Monza and Singapore after that. So we'll have to see how we do there. But if you did enjoy this pretty dull Hungarian Grand Prix, please do leave a like, share, subscribe. Let's hope for some more entertaining races in the coming videos. I think Belgium and Monza will be very good races. So too is Singapore. I love those tracks. So join me for them, and I will catch you all very soon.